Hi there everyone, and welcome to Fingers, Fums and Fits. In this episode of TTPITL, I will be painting the Crypt of Blood and Icon of Nulahmia from the Spearhead Sand and Bone Gaming Pack. Can I keep the paint inside the lines? Let's find out. I started off with a base spray of Chaos Black. Now, the remainder of this video will focus mostly on the icon, but I will be using the following methods on the crypt as well. I'll be showing this off at the end of the video. Anyway, speaking of that icon. And to start, I painted any areas that were to be that kinda jade/marble color with Gorse-Blaster green. Now, this is a very thin paint, and it took 4 coats to achieve the coverage I wanted. Just a heads up there. These areas were washed with Aethermatic blue, to add a bit of shading. Before I went back to Gorse-Blaster green for a dry brush, to bring back a bit of that original color. And then gave it a wash with Nuln Oil, to accentuate the shadows. Before one final dry brush of Gorse-Blaster green to re-establish that original color. I then painted the pillar and plinth, as well as the stone base of the crypt, using a similar method to the stonework on the walls from the last part. I will put a link on screen to that video. Runelord brass was used for the metallic areas. This is also a slightly thinner paint, so you may need a couple of coats to achieve a satisfactory coverage over a black base. A Grax Earthshade was then applied to these metallic areas. Before a light dry brushing of Runelord brass re-established a bit of shine. It was then time to add some weathering effects. Some thinned down Nihilic oxide was used on the brass areas, in some recesses and where water might collect on the statue, and Mortarian grime was used on the jade marble areas to represent a buildup of, well, grime. I then painted the vines on the base with Garagak sewer. And I'm glad I took that photo from behind as I'd almost forgotten about the skulls in the back cavity. So, let's get them out of the way in one photo here. Firstly, they were painted with Carrick stone, before receiving a wash of Skeleton Horde, and then a highlight of Screaming Skull. The final detail on the icon was the candles, which were painted with Mephiston red, and then washed with Flesh Terrors red. While the flames were painted first with Korax white, and then washed with Yondan yellow. Which left one final detail, but on the Crypt of Blood. And that was its blood-filled cauldron. As this was still painted black, I gave it an initial coat of pink horror, for a reddish base, before applying 2 coats of blood for the blood god! And with that, I think we can now call this set complete. As much as I don't like painting terrain, I had quite a lot of fun with these 2 pieces, and enjoyed them more than I did the walls and railings. I guess, maybe, because they're quite different? So, yeah, more stuff like this please GW. Anyways, what do we think? Did I manage to keep the paint inside the lines? Please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again for the next one. Have a great day everyone, and I'll see you later.